Vast numbers of men, let us say the overwhelming majority, neglect practices that many women find deeply appealing. This might sound like a bold assertion, but consider this. How often have you observed a man who appears to possess every conventional advantage, success, attractiveness, apparent confidence, yet struggles to cultivate profound, significant connections with women? The paradox lies not in external attributes like appearance, wealth, or overt self-assurance. Rather, the truth is that most men entirely miss the mark on certain subtle, yet incredibly potent, gestures capable of rendering them genuinely captivating. Today, I intend to unveil 7 rarely discussed insights, subtle psychological undercurrents that women instinctively desire but seldom articulate. These are not the tired, commonplace dating cliches you've likely encountered repeatedly. Instead, they represent understated psychological triggers, supported by both contemporary behavioral science and the timeless wisdom of ancient Stoicism, that can fundamentally alter how women perceive you, etching your presence into their memory without requiring you to contrive or overexert yourself. Visualize the potential. What if you could tap into the unconscious yearnings that many women aren't even consciously aware of? What if you could effortlessly distinguish yourself from the aforementioned majority of men? Not through pursuit, not by seeking validation or striving to prove your worth, but by truly grasping what allows a woman to feel genuinely recognized, truly desired, and authentically linked on an emotional plane. And let's be candid, remaining ignorant of these fundamental insights places you at a significant disadvantage. You risk bypassing the opportunity to forge the kind of magnetic appeal that keeps you lingering in her thoughts long after your interaction has concluded. This underscores the importance of absorbing these principles. The final insight, in particular, holds extraordinary power, and grasping it will permanently redefine your understanding of attraction. Before we delve deeper, a brief request: if you are earnest about mastering these transformative approaches, please signal your support by liking this content, subscribing to the channel, and activating notifications so you don't miss any forthcoming revelations that could profoundly impact your life. Let's commence this exploration of understated influence. Our first crucial insight concerns the profound impact of considered physical contact that precedes intimacy. Envision a scenario: you're on a date. The dialogue flows easily, she responds with laughter, and superficially, everything suggests a positive experience. Yet, an intangible element feels absent. You sense that the connection, while present, hasn't fully deepened. Later, after parting ways, a follow-up message yields only silence. What transpired? A common pitfall is focusing exclusively on verbal exchange as the primary means of forging attraction. The belief is that engaging conversation is sufficient. However, for many women, connection transcends mere words. It is a fusion of the physical and the emotional. There exists an exceptionally undervalued means to foster this deeper bond: thoughtful touch. Not aggressive or discomforting contact, but touch administered with subtlety, clear intention, and genuine significance. One often overlooked gesture women appreciate immensely is a simple, gentle touch, perhaps a light hand on the arm or shoulder during a moment of shared laughter, or a comforting brush against her hand. It sounds simple, yet its potency is remarkable because, for women, the emotional dimension of connection is often equally, if not more, paramount than the purely physical. A strategically placed, non-sexual touch communicates volumes beyond the capacity of language. It conveys, "I see you, I am present with you, I am mindful of your comfort and safety, and I value your presence." The essence isn't about performing a technique or striving to impress. It is about presence, being wholly engaged in the moment, creating an atmosphere where she feels relaxed, genuinely understood, and desired not merely physically, but emotionally and psychologically. The fundamental principle here is not merely the physical contact itself, but the intent behind it. If the touch feels performative or routine, it will lack impact. But if your presence is genuine, your engagement authentic, and you are attentively responsive to her subtle reactions, she will intuitively perceive this sincerity. As the esteemed Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The Stoic approach encourages focusing on virtuous action rather than theoretical discussion. Do not overanalyze the gesture or make it awkward. Simply be present in the interaction and allow the genuineness of your actions, guided by right intention, to communicate your regard. The stark reality is that most men never invest the effort to internalize this principle. This explains why they remain within the significant percentage who struggle to achieve genuine emotional intimacy. Conversely, the men who cultivate this understanding build profound, enduring connections that leave a lasting impression on women. In an environment often dominated by the pursuit of immediate gratification and superficial interactions, this kind of considered, thoughtful approach is indeed uncommon. But when you master it, you position yourself within the discerning few, the men who truly apprehend what women yearn for on a deeper, intuitive level. Moving beyond touch, let us explore an equally potent aspect, the art of engaging banter conducted with both confidence and respect. Many men harbor misconceptions about flirting. They either push too aggressively, projecting neediness and desperation, or they withdraw excessively, paralyzed by the fear of misstep. The nuanced truth is that women appreciate playful interaction immensely, but only when it is executed with self-assuredness, finesse, and consideration. A man who possesses the skill to flirt effortlessly distinguishes himself precisely because he generates an engaging energy that feels exhilarating and light, entirely devoid of unwelcome pressure. Genuine playful interaction isn't about deploying canned jokes or hyperbolic compliments designed solely to impress. It is about cultivating an atmosphere of lightness, enjoyment, and mutual engagement. Consider it akin to a dance. You initiate and guide, she responds and follows, but neither participant should ever feel compelled into movements that feel unnatural or uncomfortable. An effective method is through light-hearted teasing. For instance, if she expresses fondness for a particular dish, a playful retort could be, "Oh, that's the height of your culinary appreciation. Clearly, you've yet to experience my cooking." This constitutes a subtle, non-serious challenge that sustains conversational interest while introducing a playful, competitive dynamic. Crucially, effective playful interaction is not driven by a quest for external validation. The moment you visibly strive too hard to gain approval, you forfeit your natural edge. Women are naturally drawn to individuals who are at ease in their own identity, capable of light-hearted banter without requiring external affirmation to feel worthy. This is precisely where the tenets of Stoic philosophy offer profound guidance. A man embodying high personal value does not engage in playful interaction with the sole objective of winning a woman's favor. He engages in it because he genuinely appreciates the interaction itself, valuing the present moment and the shared human connection. He remains emotionally centered, untroubled by an excessive need for a specific outcome. Beyond verbal exchanges, his presence, his gaze, his body language, and nuanced nonverbal cues, a self-assured smile, a deliberate nod, a perfectly timed pause, often convey far more than any pre-prepared pickup line. Magnetic appeal is not solely constructed through words, it is cultivated through one's overall presence, the energy one projects, and genuine self-confidence. When your playful interaction is grounded in the right mindset, women sense it instantaneously. So, pose this question to yourself: am I engaging in this interaction to elicit a specific reaction? Or am I engaging in it because I genuinely find enjoyment in the present interaction? Mastering this distinction will demonstrably shift the dynamics of attraction in your favor. A third insight, often missed by many, is the subtle yet potent effect of touching a woman's hair at a fitting juncture. The vast majority of men completely overlook this, yet when executed appropriately, women often respond favorably. When a man understands how and when to gently touch a woman's hair, at precisely the right moment, it stands as one of those seemingly minor gestures capable of forging an instantaneous emotional resonance. Conversely, if done clumsily or at an inappropriate time, it can feel intrusive, forced, or simply awkward. The key to its effectiveness lies in understanding the underlying mechanism. The scalp is among the most sensitive anatomical regions, abundant with nerve endings capable of triggering profound emotional and physiological responses. A gentle, well-placed touch upon her hair or scalp can transmit subtle yet powerful signals associated with closeness, trust, and attraction. The impact is not confined to the physical sensation alone, it lies in the unspoken message it conveys: I am aware of you, I am fully present with you, and I am attuned to your energy. However, this is where many men err. They either rush the gesture or execute it mechanically, devoid of genuine connection or sensitivity. Touching her hair isn't about idly playing with it. It is about deliberately creating a shared moment of intimacy. Picture this scene: you are seated together, engaged in a deeply absorbing conversation. At a point where the connection feels palpable and comfortable, you gently brush a strand of hair from her face. That single, deliberate action, executed with intention and quiet confidence, can express more than any carefully chosen words. Timing, in this context, is paramount. This is absolutely not a gesture suitable for a first meeting or before any degree of emotional rapport has been established. Its power is unleashed when she already feels a degree of comfort in your presence, when there is discernible chemistry and warmth radiating between you. If she intuitively leans slightly closer, if her smile conveys openness and invites proximity, these are indicators that the moment may be right. The most detrimental action is to force such a gesture when she is not receptive, which highlights the critical importance of presence, awareness, and sensitivity. From a Stoic vantage point, this connects directly to the cultivation of emotional intelligence and the exercise of thoughtful restraint. Stoicism instructs us to carefully assess situations without succumbing to impulsive reactions, to remain firmly in control of our actions rather than being governed by immediate desires or external prompts. This implies that you do not extend such a touch merely because you want to, but rather because your reasoned assessment of the situation suggests it is the appropriate, unforced moment to deepen the connection. Therefore, the next time you are in the company of a woman and the atmosphere intuitively suggests a moment of increased closeness, do not underestimate the understated power of a simple, gentle touch on her hair, provided it is executed with genuine confidence and clear, respectful intention. It is one of those rare, subtle gestures capable of leaving a remarkably lasting impression. Our fourth point of focus reveals the quiet strength inherent in a hand placed on her back in a public or semi-public setting. This might strike some as an insignificant gesture, yet in reality, it communicates profound messages. A simple, self-assured placement of your hand on a woman's lower back as you navigate through a crowded space or walk alongside her subtly conveys qualities that are deeply attractive: inherent leadership, quiet confidence, and protective presence. Yet, the vast majority of men either fail to recognize its significance or hesitate, uncertain whether such contact is appropriate. Women, contrary to some assumptions, do not require overt, performative displays of masculinity to feel secure. What resonates on an instinctual level are subtle, consistent signals that indicate a man is anchored, mentally present, and capable of guiding or taking appropriate action when necessary. When you place your hand on her back with a sense of calm self-possession, you transmit a powerful message, that you are composed and in control of yourself and the immediate situation, without uttering a single word. This is not an assertion of dominance or an attempt to control her movements, but rather an affirmation, demonstrated through action, that you are attentive, aware, and providing a gentle, guiding presence with quiet confidence. However, the common error here is either excessive hesitation, which renders the gesture awkward and uncertain, or executing it in a manner that feels stiff, unnatural, or overtly possessive. This gesture is neither about claiming ownership nor seeking validation from her reaction. It is fundamentally about presence and mindful interaction. When executed correctly, the contact is light yet purposeful, brief yet intentional, just sufficient for her to register your presence and guidance in a way that feels natural and effortless. Picture this scenario: you are walking together, approaching the entrance of a venue. As you move slightly ahead to open the door, your hand briefly and lightly rests on her lower back. This subtle action serves as a subconscious reassurance that she is in the company of a man who moves with both confidence and clear purpose. From a Stoic perspective, this directly embodies the principles of self-mastery and mindful presence. Marcus Aurelius's reminder: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1 is profoundly relevant here. A man guided by Stoic principles does not seek external approval for his conduct. He simply embodies virtuous characteristics, strength, awareness, and a quiet, internal control. When you place your hand on her back with this mindset, you are not seeking a particular reaction from her. You are simply acting as a man who embodies presence and leadership. And that quality, in itself, possesses a magnetic force. In a social landscape where many men lean towards either excessive timidity or unwarranted assertiveness, mastering this simple yet impactful gesture distinguishes you as someone who comprehends the delicate equilibrium between strength and attentive care. The fifth crucial element pertains to embodying the role of her protector in small, consistent ways, becoming her quiet hero. Being a protector, in this context, does not imply saving a woman from peril or adopting the role of her personal security detail. Modern women are, by and large, independent, capable, and fully equipped to navigate their own challenges. Yet, and this is the core insight, they still possess an innate desire for a partner who makes them feel safe and secure. This feeling isn't fostered through dramatic, performative acts but through the aggregation of small, reliable actions that quietly communicate, "I have your best interest at heart," both emotionally and physically. Many men incorrectly assume that being a protector is reserved for extraordinary circumstances, intervening in a conflict or defending her honor with a grand display. But the authentic trust and attraction are built, incrementally, through the accumulation of smaller, everyday demonstrations of reliability. It manifests in how you calmly and respectfully address a situation when someone is discourteous towards her. It is evident in the quiet consideration you show in ensuring she reaches her destination safely, without transforming it into an exaggerated point of achievement. It is revealed when you stand calmly alongside her during an awkward or uncomfortable social encounter, offering a silent yet unmistakable expression of support. Women intuitively notice and deeply appreciate these consistent acts of dependable presence. A man who maintains composure under duress, who handles challenging situations with a measured, calm demeanor, who is present and engaged without being overbearing, this is the individual who cultivates that vital sense of safety. And in a world often characterized by unpredictability and volatility, such stability is a rare and profoundly appealing quality. However, it is essential to clarify, acting as a protector does not equate to controlling her or undermining her capabilities. It signifies that you are someone she can confidently depend on when circumstances warrant support. A man who avoids escalating conflicts unnecessarily, but who also does not shrink away when the moment demands quiet strength and resolute presence. This is precisely where the wisdom of Stoic philosophy proves invaluable. Epictetus famously taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A man grounded in Stoic principles possesses emotional steadiness. He does not permit himself to be driven by impulse, fear, or insecurity. Instead, he practices mindful observation, deliberate assessment, and responds with composed precision. This disciplined internal state is precisely what allows a woman to feel truly at ease and secure in his company. When you embody this kind of calm, unwavering energy, you naturally distinguish yourself from the significant majority of men who either react impulsively and excessively or fail to act decisively at all. You become the distinctive kind of man who doesn't merely speak of strength, you demonstrate it consistently through your actions, without ever needing to articulate your capabilities. Secret number 6 unveils the subtle psychological impact generated by casually mentioning a dream about her. This is an understated technique, yet its potential is remarkably powerful. Most men would never even consider using it, but when employed appropriately, it can cultivate an emotional connection that resonates within a woman's consciousness far longer than any direct compliment might. It harnesses the power of suggesting that she has occupied your thoughts, even during periods when your conscious mind was at rest. Consider this scenario: you are engaged in a relaxed, casual conversation, and at a fitting, unforced juncture, you casually interject, "You know, I had the most unusual dream about you last night." Then, you deliberately pause. You refrain from immediately launching into details. You allow a moment for her natural curiosity to surface. In the vast majority of instances, she will intuitively lean in, prompted by intrigue, and inquire, "Really? Wait, what was it about?" Now, the critical element here is the nature of the dream you recount. It does not need to be an elaborate, overly romantic, or dramatic narrative. Keep it simple, light-hearted, and perhaps slightly enigmatic or playful. Something along the lines of, "I can't recall every single detail, but we were just sitting in a comfortable cafe, talking about something quite insightful, and it simply felt really pleasant and connected." Observe the subtle effect this creates. It gently implants the idea in her mind that you feel a genuine ease and comfort in her presence, that she occupies a place within your subconscious thoughts, and that there exists an intangible, unspoken resonance between you. Women are inherently emotional and intuitive beings. They are drawn to the notion of being thought about in a manner that feels unforced and genuine, rather than calculated or contrived. A dream, by its very nature, is perceived as something beyond your immediate conscious control, something conjured by the deeper layers of your mind. This inherent quality makes it feel authentic and undeniably intriguing. It stands in stark contrast to a planned compliment. It is an organic, spontaneous moment that prompts her to ponder, "Why was I featured in his dream?" This taps into a fundamental aspect of female psychology, the allure of mystery and the desire for genuine emotional connection. A woman wishes to feel uniquely special, but not in an obvious, generic manner. Casually mentioning, "I had a dream about you," conveys a sense of her significance without imposing pressure or generating explicit expectations. It subtly cultivates intrigue precisely because it is not a line most men would ever consider using. Let's connect this to the principles of Stoicism. A man embodying Stoic virtues does not resort to overt appeals or pleas for attention. He cultivates an inner state that naturally invites interest and allows natural curiosity to work in his favor. He understands, from a Stoic perspective, that true influence often stems from internal composure and acting skillfully within the realm of what he can control, his thoughts, his words, his actions, rather than attempting to force an external outcome, her reaction. Attraction, in this view, is less about forceful pursuit and more about generating a magnetic pull through subtle means. Instead of exerting excessive effort to gain favor, he permits small, seemingly effortless moments, born from a place of relaxed presence and genuine interest, to foster deeper emotional resonance. Thus, the next time you find yourself in conversation with a woman and the moment feels intuitively right, remember this simple, yet effective psychological trigger. Do not overuse it or force it unnaturally. But when the opportunity presents itself authentically, observe how it encourages her to lean in, how it subtly begins to shift her perception of you. Finally, we arrive at the seventh secret, the quiet charisma and psychological resonance triggered by a well-maintained beard. You might perceive facial hair as merely a matter of personal style or current fashion, but both scientific inquiry and psychological principles suggest a more profound influence. A beard that is cared for and intentionally styled does more than simply alter your outward appearance. It subtly recalibrates how women perceive you on a deep, often subconscious, level. Research has consistently shown that women frequently associate men with beards with qualities such as strength, maturity, and a sense of protective capability, attributes that resonate with fundamental, even primal, instincts related to attraction and partnership selection. Reflect on historical contexts. In many ancient cultures, warriors, leaders, and figures of authority almost invariably wore beards. A beard was a visible emblem of accumulated wisdom, resilience forged through experience, and masculine potency, characteristics that signaled a man's inherent capacity to provide, defend, and lead. Even in contemporary society, these deep-seated associations have not entirely dissipated. When a man wears a beard, he is often perceived as more dominant, more self-assured, and even more dependable than his clean-shaven counterparts. However, there is a crucial caveat: the effect is not merely derived from possessing facial hair. It is intricately linked to the maintenance of that hair. A beard that is unkempt, messy, or neglected can inadvertently signal a lack of discipline or a casual approach to personal care, qualities that are generally unattractive. Conversely, a beard that is deliberately groomed, neatly trimmed, and well cared for demonstrates a commitment to personal discipline, attention to detail, and fundamental self-respect. This is precisely why women are drawn to men whose facial hair appears intentional and well-managed, rather than merely left to grow without care. It subtly communicates, I invest in myself, I possess a degree of self-control, and I am mindful of my own presentation and presence. This directly aligns with the tenets of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In a parallel sense, one's external presentation often serves as a reflection of one's internal state and discipline. A beard, viewed through this lens, is not merely an aesthetic choice, it can be a visible declaration of composure, patience in cultivation, and committed self-mastery. You are not simply allowing hair to grow, you are consciously crafting an image that aligns with the sense of presence and capability you wish to embody. Furthermore, let us not overlook a significant psychological factor: contrast and framing. A well-groomed beard effectively frames the face, accentuating features like a strong jawline and rendering facial expressions more pronounced and readable. This natural enhancement of definition often boosts attraction because it conveys a compelling balance, a sense of ruggedness or gravitas paired with deliberate care and mindful presentation, a combination many women find particularly captivating. Therefore, does this imply that cultivating a beard is an absolute prerequisite for being attractive? Unequivocally, no. However, if you possess the capacity to grow one, it represents a valuable tool to consider within your overall presentation. And if you already maintain facial hair, ensuring it is properly groomed can substantially amplify the positive manner in which others perceive you, particularly women. To conclude, applying these insights with genuine, effortless confidence is the ultimate step. By internalizing these principles, you have now gained access to 7 rarely discussed insights, subtle yet potent behaviors that the majority of men overlook, yet which possess the capacity to fundamentally reshape how women perceive you. Each one intelligently taps into subtle psychological undercurrents that foster trust, spark intrigue, and cultivate deep-seated attraction without resorting to artifice or overt effort. To summarize the core elements, integrating thoughtful physical contact before intimacy establishes vital emotional rapport that many men neglect. Engaging in playful interaction grounded in respect sets you apart as a man of genuine confidence and internal control. Gently touching her hair at the opportune moment can ignite a profound, subconscious chemistry. The simple act of placing your hand on her back in public signals quiet leadership and a reassuring sense of security, consistently. Demonstrating your protective presence in small, reliable ways fosters a sense of safety that she may not even consciously realize she deeply desires. Utilizing the subtle power of mentioning a dream about her engages her emotions in a manner that naturally builds curiosity and a sense of attachment. And finally, the cultivation and maintenance of a well-groomed beard resonates with primal instincts related to strength and dependable masculinity. Now, the practical question arises: how does one seamlessly integrate these principles into real-life interactions? The absolute key lies in avoiding any sense of forcing the gestures or the interactions. Genuine attraction is cultivated through authentic presence, inherent confidence, and a developed sense of self-awareness. If your approach feels like you are consciously ticking off items from a checklist during your interactions, you will inevitably come across as unnatural or performative. Instead, allow these insights to become a natural, intuitive extension of who you are as a person. Cultivate an awareness of opportunities as they arise organically. If you are walking alongside her and the moment feels comfortable and natural, allow your hand to rest lightly, momentarily, on her back as a subtle cue of presence. If she has expressed comfort and a genuine connection is evident, find an appropriate, non-intrusive moment for a playful touch on her hair. If your intuition suggests a receptiveness to playful mystery, consider mentioning a dream you genuinely had about her. The more effortless and authentic the application feels, the more potent its effect becomes. And here lies an even more profound truth: mastering these principles doesn't solely enhance your attractiveness to women. They contribute fundamentally to your growth as a man of substance. When you consciously practice presence, cultivate genuine confidence stemming from inner composure, and dedicate yourself to self-mastery, core tenets of Stoicism, you distinguish yourself not merely within the context of romantic pursuits, but across every dimension of your life. Women are instinctively drawn to men who exhibit a clear sense of purpose, who embody self-control, and who possess a quiet, inner strength. This is precisely where the deliberate adoption of Stoic principles becomes a transformative advantage. The Stoic man does not chase external validation or pursue outcomes that are not entirely within his control. He simply is. He moves through the world with quiet confidence, remains anchored in his core values, and allows his inherent presence and disciplined character to speak volumes on his behalf. He comprehends that true magnetic appeal is not achieved through manipulative techniques or superficial ploys. It is fundamentally rooted in how you conduct yourself, your intentionality, and the quality of your presence in every moment. So now, the choice rests with you. Will you remain within the significant percentage of men who largely overlook these subtle, yet profoundly impactful behaviors? Or will you choose to apply the understanding you have gained, elevate the quality of your presence, and step into the select group of men, the 1%, who genuinely grasp these deeper dynamics of connection and attraction? If you are prepared to begin integrating these insights into your life, please share your thoughts in the comments below and let me know which specific point resonated with you most strongly or offered the greatest surprise. And if you found genuine value in this exploration, signaling your support with a like and subscribing to the channel would be greatly appreciated.